So this is the beautiful Pittsburgh Skyline painting. The inspiration behind this was really my own wish and this itching need to make this poetic statement, this gesture of some sort about my environment as a whole. Now I'm totally obsessed with the idea that what's around us tremendously amplifies and has direct connection and does affect what's inside of us. And the same is true, at least I believe so, for what's inside of us. That what's inside of us tremendously affects what's outside of us and what we continue to encounter outside of us. And when given proper attention, to what's outside of us, the same will be reflected of what's inside of us, meaning we'll get even better clarity in detail of what's inside. Now, that's an ideal that I try to live and constantly remember when it comes to not only doing art, but just living life in general. And when it came to honoring the city and my close environment, that being Pittsburgh, the same idea obviously was at work here. And with that in mind, I wanted to really show the notion that within the minute details, within the small, tiny details, the important aspects of something could also lie there. In that the opposite is also true, that within the whole, the entire picture could also be appreciated and also understood. And I wanted to really have a nice balance between that. And in the beginning of this project, I knew that would take a really long time, because that meant really going into the city, looking at those things that are, those details that I thought are either mundane to, every day as just we're walking around our daily lives, have the conversations with people who you just pass by, not give a thought to, really talking to them and getting their perspective and vibe on what they feel about their environment, that being the city. And if it was bad, I don't know, give them $1, talk to them, or just give them your attention. And that usually changed a lot of things, and in turn, it enabled me to get a good understanding and an accurate idea of what it really meant to live in Pittsburgh, both as someone who's really into the city, in other words, who's lived there for a long time, these particular details, minute details, really ingrained into the city, versus the people who are just on the outside, the periphery, the people you would see when you just take a look at the city, almost the equivalent of the overall image. So if you were to take a look at this live scene, you might see a lot of people, you might see tourists, you might see so many people, but odds are not every single person in there lives in that city. Not every single person in there is quite as intimately drawn to it. So even though they offer you information on what's around, more, you get in tune in terms of getting this more feedback. The deeper you go and the outer words you scale out. And that was the same idea I wanted to put on here. So that meant waking up early in the morning, watching sunsets, sunrises, reflections on the window, the buildings, and it really took me on this whole escape, this journey of learning and getting intimately, at least acquired to the city, intimately really getting to learn about the different buildings, the angles, and that's really the thing in there too. It wasn't just taking up a map and looking or Google Earth or anything like that. It was really going up close sometimes and actually seeing the texture, seeing how the light reflects off of it, what color are the buildings, and so forth. All these different things, and this is what you get.